to another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B Live, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Cool. The Sports Bros Podcast is a sports podcast that's by the fans, for the fans. Talking sports, just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. All right, we're back. It's not Friday. It's not Tuesday. Hell, it's not even Monday. It is Wednesday. So you know what that means? It's time once again for your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. I go by the name of Eddy Cool, aka the HOC, the head of creative here at the Sports Bros Podcast. As B-Live bites his lip to give me another forehead joke, but it's all good, fine, and dandy. But before we get this train off the track, we'll keep it on the track, all right? Of course, you know I cannot do this by myself. I have not only one, but two of the best co-hosts in the world who held it down during this past week's abbreviated episode. Introducing first, the almighty B Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? I honestly, I need you guys. I just realized that I was listening to myself last week and I was like, man, you know what? I really do need you guys. I can't do this by myself, and I need some incoherent rambling. I need some off-tune singing and all of the things. But man, I tell you what, when that question poses itself, what's happening, what's going on in the world today, there's so much. And we're going to try to compact it into this episode 196. The bros are back in town. Eddy, go ahead and introduce the other guy. That's about all the compliments I got today. That's it for me. That other guy. Let him sing something to us, I guess.
And you know what's going to happen. And speaking of the other guy, he is the toughest lunch lady this side of the Mississippi River and all of the Trinity School District. He is the one, the only, the money man, Scottie D.
Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure.
Where's my lighter?
That's what friends are for. I missed you, friends. Last week it was our anniversary and I missed you guys. So congratulations, not only on the anniversary, congratulations to you guys on getting the number one draft pick for your favorite team. Oof. And congratulations, B Live. Clemson was the number one team in the NIT.
And then it's not necessary. See, no.
I'm sharing love.
That's not love. Just move on. You've been holding on to that for 2 weeks.
Congratulations. I just came to me. Actually, it was wonderful.
Yeah. No, it wasn't wonderful. These go straight to hell. Why?
Hey, my team went out with a whimper. Pitt went out with a whimper the other day, so I got nothing to brag about. It was they actually played a terrible game in the second round. The first round. They won the opening round, and against Iowa State, they deserved to lose. But Iowa State said, "Damn it, we deserve to lose more," and it was an off game. Anyway, lots to talk about with basketball. Eddy, cool. Let's start the show.
There you go. Unmute. There, now we're back on it.
Yeah, I've muted and I've pinned myself, so I got to figure something out here. Okay, remove pin. All right, much better. See what happens when you take a damn week off? Things happen. This is going in the outtake section towards the end of the show. All right, 3, 2, 1. Scottie D, you're right. There's been a whole hell of a lot going on. Basketball, more hoops. And with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into it. The top of the order. All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order. Now, fellas, I'm not going to lie, do that thing called work. I haven't watched a whole hell of a lot of games, but I've been paying attention to some things, just been paying attention as much as I most possibly can. Now, we're down to the 16 teams, the sweet 6 teams. 16. Now, fellas, I was just thinking, I said, damn, it's like as soon as this tournament gets started, we're almost at the end. It goes quick. It goes quick. If you blink, it goes quick. All right, so Matthew, exciting weekend of March Madness. What team impressed you that you might have been overlooking? Scottie D, I'll start with you. What team that has impressed you, but you may have been overlooking?
I'll tell you. Well, first of all, I'll start with the team that was the biggest disappointment, and there was absolutely no debating on this one. There's no question. It was Purdue.
Yeah.
Purdue went out and laid an egg. It was the worst loss in NCAA history. Now, I know that Virginia had lost. They were the first team to lose a 16-1. But in this case, Purdue lost to a team that shouldn't have even been in the tournament. Fairleigh Dickinson lost. They lost their conference championship and shouldn't have even been in. And it's only because I think it was Merrimack was ineligible because they were in a 4-year probationary period in that conference. They ordinarily would have been in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's because Merrimack had just moved up from Division II, and so they're not eligible or something of that nature. But yeah,
I think this is their 4th year, but it's something like that. It's like an old school rule where you're not eligible for like 4 years. So by getting to the conference championship, Fairleigh Dickinson clinched. That's how they got in. They didn't even have to win their conference championship, and they didn't. And then I believe they were in the first 4, right? They won their first 4 game. Okay, so they got at least one victory, a little momentum, and then they went out and Purdue put on one of the worst shows I've ever seen. They had the biggest man on the planet, and he only shot 11 times. And they just, like happens a lot in this tournament, they decided, we'll just shoot threes. We'll just keep jacking them up. So anyway, that was completely obnoxious to lose.
I'm gonna throw something out there because if you're talking about Zach Eddy for Purdue, and he's like
7 foot.
What is he like 7'2", 7'3",
I think
7'4", 7'4".
Big as hell.
The tallest guy on Fairleigh Dickinson is 6'6". Just throw that out there. 10 inches shorter. The tallest guy on their team is 10 inches shorter,
and he got 11 shots. And some of those were on rebounds, putbacks. I mean, come on, guys. There were times he wasn't even touching the ball. They were going 3 and 4 possessions without him touching the ball, and he's posting up. All you got to do is lob it up there to him, and if he turns around and shoots over top of you, even if he misses, so what? He got a good chance to get the rebound, but at least he touched the ball. At least you have to guard a guy who's like he's the tallest man in the world. Anyway, that was a huge disappointment. 2 teams that really impressed me, and they really shouldn't have been overlooked, but I was thoroughly impressed with how Tennessee handled Duke. They came out and just basically got physical with them. They kind of manhandled them a little bit, pushed them around. And when coming out of the half and it looked like Duke might make a run, Tennessee just didn't allow it. They just stayed strong the whole game. They never really let Duke back in the game. And that's one of those cases where you had a little bit of veteran, some older guys playing for Tennessee. And I always say I like taking teams with seniors in this time of year. And that was a perfect case of why, because I think everybody, even Eddy Cool, was very hot on Duke going into this tournament because Duke had been playing so well down the stretch. And I think Eddy Cool picked them to win it all, and that's not going to happen. Anyway, not to make fun because everyone has busted brackets, which leads me to my other team. And that was
busted.
Yeah. And this team should be one that I shouldn't be overly impressed with Kansas State because they were a 3 seed, but they beat Kentucky, and Kentucky did not play a bad game in that game. That was a back and forth game, and down the stretch of that game, Kansas State just hit a couple monster threes that created enough separation to hold on and win that game. But Kentucky played really well, and I had Kentucky in my Final Four. I thought they had come together late in the season. There was another team that wasn't great early and kind of came together as the season went on. But Kansas State, they had this Noel that looked phenomenal. He looks like a star, and I think he's like 5'1", and he looked fantastic. He was hitting bombs from all over the place. He looked really good. So I was really impressed with Kansas State, really impressed with Tennessee. Again, that's not any of the low seed teams, but these are teams. I told you guys I watched a lot more college basketball this year, but I didn't see either of those 2 teams play until the tournament. So I did overlook those, Tennessee and Kansas State, and they made me pay for it in my brackets because they're moving on, and they look really, really good. B-Live, what you got?
I will absolutely agree with you with Tennessee. It was made known to me, and I should have known this, that Tennessee has the number 2 ranked defense in all of NCAA. How I overlooked that? Yeah. But we're watching them play Duke. I was like, them boys play D. And then I got to getting in my feels because Tennessee's coach, Rick Barnes, used to coach at at a certain college in the upstate of South Carolina that is near and dear to my heart, Clemson University. This was not necessarily all rose lead to Dabo because this was back in the 1990s before Dabo was there.
I remember Rick Barnes. I do.
Rick Barnes had Tennessee playing defense, and he's been known for that. He's definitely been known for that. He coached for Texas before, coached for Clemson. I think he's one of the only coaches in NCAA history to take 3 different programs to the Sweet 16. So that right there is a feat amongst itself, and he has Tennessee playing. And I think Tennessee could do some damage. My second team I'm going to put in there, I'm not even going to disrespect them by trying to put on a glass slipper on them. I'm not even going to disrespect them. Princeton is not playing like a Cinderella team.
Oh my goodness.
Princeton is not. They don't care about that number in front of their name. They don't care about the numbers in front of your name. I'm putting Creighton on notice. I have Creighton going to the Final Four, and I'm a little nervous because Princeton is not playing around. They dispose of Missouri like, brothers, y'all not only y'all think us Ivy League kids are not athletic. We're smart and athletic. Princeton is not playing around.
They're too smart to be winning games. You know, they shouldn't be in the Sweet 16. They're too smart.
They could have fooled me. That 15 seed just this man. But Virginia, you're gonna stop disappointing us. You're not let off the hook because Purdue had a really bad showing, but Virginia, good Lord, you were exposed once again, and that's where we're here. We're here right now because we have a 15 versus a 6 in the Sweet 16, and Princeton can easily take down Creighton. Like I said, I have Creighton in the Final Four. Bracken's already told all the pieces, but then again,
didn't Princeton beat? Didn't they beat Arizona?
Yeah, they beat Arizona.
My bad.
They beat Arizona.
They beat Arizona. Princeton beat Arizona. Who beat Virginia?
I think it was Furman, I believe.
Furman. That's what I wanted to. Pepper Point later on. I apologize. Got my facts mixed up. I was going to mention about Furman, the Paladins, another upstate school in the state of South Carolina. Clemson and South Carolina, not in the tournament. Furman, College of Charleston. Hey, there you go.
Go figure, right?
Go figure.
Yeah,
man,
crazy.
Oh man, but it's been absolute madness, and whoo, it's only going to get crazier. It's only going to get crazier. Is there anybody that you really think right now has an overwhelming advantage over anybody on the men's side at all?
I don't, because there's enough teams that are playing very well. Like I watched Miami beat Indiana, and they're playing extremely well, and they were an Elite 8 team next year. But I mean, there's other teams that also I think look very strong. So I mean, Alabama looks outstanding. Texas looked really good. And I'll tell you, the thing that Texas did the other night is they were not hitting their 3-pointers, and down the stretch they quit shooting them, and they went to their big man who scored like 8 of their last 10 points. And that's right, yeah. And you know, we talked about teams that impressed. I wanted to point out a player that really impressed me, and that was this Adama Sanogo from UConn. This guy is a star, and he's a beast. And he's carried UConn, and he's another one. They just kept feeding him, and he took over games. So I slept on that guy all year. That sounds weird to say that I slept on that guy, but I slept on his abilities this year. Yeah, I didn't know enough about this guy. I think I saw UConn play one game like in maybe November, December. That cat's good. He's really good. That's what's kind of exciting about this tournament is that you see guys that you ordinarily don't get to watch because, you know, we're football fans. America watches football all the way into through February. So we're not seeing guys all over the country play. You might see a Saturday afternoon game between Kentucky and Duke and North Carolina, some of the bigger name teams, but it's nice to see these guys. That also is kind of what hurts college basketball, because some of these dudes are already going to be gone. Once you finally hear about them, they split. They go and take the money or hit the transfer portal or something like that. But yeah, that's a whole other thing. But that was, and the coach is doing the same thing. Actually, the Fairleigh Dickinson coach is already
gone.
Yeah,
going to Iona, and I got
to because Iona, Rick Pitino got hired by St. John's already. The pieces already been moving. I did mention that, and I appreciate the way you segued into someone, an individual that you didn't know about. I'm going to do one in the same as well, but I want to highlight something that's a little bit different, because we've been talking about all these Cinderellas, Prince, and all this stuff. You know how we haven't highlighted and should just get a little bit more mention on, and Scott may hate me for this, and I don't care. But if you look on the women's side, it's not what it used to be. It used to be 4 teams and then everybody else. But the women's side of things has already lost 2 number 1 seeds as well.
Now it's 1 team and everybody else.
True. There you go. Ain't nobody been. But I want to feature a player that you've heard her name. But I'm going to give you this stat line of what she did in the round of 32, because this is just ridiculous. I don't know how best to put it. 25 points, 24 rebounds, 6 blocks, 4 assists, and 3 steals.
That sounds like an NBA player right there.
The LSU sensation known as Bayou Barbie. I'm talking about none other than Angel Reese. And why you hating? Why
because we beat them?
That's okay. Okay, ain't none of your ladies put up a stat line like that. Aaliyah Boston ain't put up a stat line like that. Caitlin Clark hasn't put up a stat line like that. I want to talk about the women just a little bit. You ain't gonna be able just to walk away with everything.
Maybe the Spurs will draft her. They got a woman coach already down there. Maybe the Spurs pick her this year in the lottery.
So I'm glad to see that Eddy Cool over there has got the confidence of he got that. What that dude that flew too close to the sun, and I'm waiting to see his spurs and his wings get burnt off this year. What is it? Icarus?
Dumbass. That's the dumbass.
You're getting a little too cocky over there, thinking that your women gonna win it all just like that. I'm telling you right now.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you what, man. When it comes to the women's side of things, man, I witnessed them demolish South Florida. Surprise. But Iowa, can't sleep on Iowa. Cannot sleep on the Lady Hawkeyes. You got Caitlin Clark. That's her name, right? Caitlin Clark, if I'm not mistaken.
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is over there doing something. They got a big over there. Like, I think before this past game that they played, they were talking that she dribbled. I think she scored like what 12. I think she had like 12 points, and I guess how many times she only dribbled the ball.
Yeah, she is. A lot of people have given her the nickname of like Lady Steph or stuff like that. She's a spot up shooter. Like she will shoot from the logo too.
She will shoot the ball. She is not scared to shoot the ball.
I think it's disrespectful to her because her game is like one of the best in the lady side of things. I'm gonna need Scottie D to fix his face because we haven't talked that much. I know we haven't talked this much about women's basketball, and he doesn't know what to say or do right now. But I feel like we should highlight this. That's why.
We should. I watched 0 minutes of that. The stat line's impressive. I know the lady game clocks are impressive, but that's all I got for you.
There's some intriguing matchups: Notre Dame, Maryland, UCLA, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia Tech. These are some very intriguing matchups that I'm looking forward to seeing. I just want to throw that out there. Sorry, sir. This was my part of the show. You got your piece.
I'm glad it's out there.
It's madness. It's a beautiful thing to see both sides of basketball thriving. It's actually really good basketball to watch. Yep. So it's madness, baby. It's madness. Yes, sir.
And speaking of madness,
one thing I did want to say this about March Madness. I watched several days worth of tournaments. I watched it. I would like to see if we could switch that Sunday schedule though, because by Sunday night I was exhausted from basketball. I watched basketball for basically 12 straight hours on Friday. Ooh. I watched it for about 10 hours maybe on Saturday. And on Sunday, I was ready to watch a little bit more. And there was like one game on it. Actually, it was Pitt. So that kind of, they had a terrible outing. And then there was like another game on after that. And then there was like 6 of them on for the rest of the evening.
Yep.
I think they would be better served to have a couple games early on Sunday and a couple in the afternoon, and then kind of wrap it early, because by 10 o'clock at night on Sunday, I was basketballed out. I was exhausted, and I was so tired of watching teenagers clank 3-pointers off the back rim by that point. I mean, you got to figure there's 68 teams in the tournament. That means 340 guys started a collegiate game. Probably of those 340, you might get 40 in the NBA within the next 2 years. That means you get about 300 guys that are not NBA worthy, just jacking threes, just clanking 3-pointers. And it seemed like every game there was a team that was ice baby. They just couldn't buy one. There was game after game. I would watch one team that would catch on fire, and the other team would be ice cold and just keep.
You're as cold as ice.
Oh.
Bad time to get cold too.
And I feel like way too many fouls are called. I feel like there's a lot of free throw shots. I think sometimes the officials got to back off in these tournaments, because these guys are physical. Don't call the foul like, wait, I'll buy half court. That doesn't affect it, but let that go, and let's not shoot as many free throws. Let's keep the flow of the game going. And for God's sakes, quit shooting so many threes. And I can't wait for this weekend. I wish there was another 12 hours on Thursday and Friday, but they're just in the evening games now on Thursday and Friday, and I'm good with that. I'm ready to watch.
Yeah, it's tough to watch Thursday and Friday when you got good jobs and everything. And I'm hoping one day that I'll have one of those good jobs so I won't be able to watch all the games on Thursday and Friday. I'm not there yet.
It's on the way. It's on the way. It's
en route. It's en route. Now, as Scottie D, I 1,000% agree with you. But they have to switch it on Saturday as well, because of just how the parity is. So if you're going to do it on Sunday, you got to do it on Saturday. But yeah, I do agree to having one game at 12:30, one game at 12:15, one game at 2:30, and then one game 5:15, 6:15, 6:30, 7:30. Whoa! Why are you throwing all these games together? You have 8 games to play on Saturday, 8 games to play on Sunday. Space it out just like you did the couple of days prior. Like have 12, 1, 2,
yeah,
something 12,
like that,
something like that, or whatever. I mean, yes, I like.
Plus, you're getting up Monday morning for work too. A lot of people they don't mind as late the Saturday ones, because a lot of people skip church. Like some people still go to church. Some skip church, but anyway, on
I go
Sunday
online,
night,
Scott. I know a shop I take it. I go online.
On Sunday night, you're tired, and Monday's coming. And you get the point.
Bruh pastor know what's going on. He knows what's happening during the fall. That's why you have the shorter sermons during the fall. Yeah. Same thing, March. Short. Hey, bruh pastor, let's wrap it up. Let's get that B selection from the choir. But man, no, I
speaking of that, B Live, I've been to 2 churches in one in the state of South Carolina and one up here in the Ohio area, in the Cleveland area. I've had both pastors said, before I get into today's sermon, I understand that today is game day and the sermon will be done no later than 12. 30. So we're gonna go ahead right into it, turn into the book of Exodus, and they get right into it. You know, they know what time it is, and a lot of times they're dressed in their team gear, like, look, we ain't gonna waste no time. Let's get into it. Sing these songs.
Send the choir home early.
Right.
Tell the choir, y'all go ahead and start singing out the door. Go ahead.
My quick takeaway, so we can talk about NFL free agency. My quick takeaway is this: one and done does not work. It does not work at all. I don't think any team's been overly or highly successful with one and done players. Kentucky has won one championship. Duke has. When's the last time they won one? What, 2018? Well, some things. But they've only won one since they changed that philosophy. John Shire has actually said that he wants to change it back to a more traditional program. And John Shire, I applaud you for that. One and done. You see those teams that are seasoned veterans that have been playing together for years. Those are the teams that are coming up on top. There's your Princetons, your Houstons, your Gonzagas. Those teams are the ones that shine when the light shines the brightest, because they know how to play with each other. And they know how to run these plays. They know, hey, quick turnaround. We played five games in 5 days, then turn around and play game, and then one day off, and then another game. These guys they know how to gel with each other, and it shows. It's been shown for years upon years, and I want to see less of the one and dones, more of just traditional, good old fashioned, seasoned veteran basketball, and that's why it's called bad.
Yeah, and just one last exclamation point. One other thing that would help improve this tournament: haircuts. There's a lot of bad hair. A lot of bad hair in these tournaments. That little Tiger Campbell from UCLA, man, I don't know what he's doing with that. That thing's been that's bad hair. And his partner, the tall kid with the Hispanic kid with the long. There's a lot of bad hair. Lots of bad hair across the board.
Whoever brought the mullet back is just wrong. Stop. I'm sick of that.
And now the sheepdog is in. You get the bunched up like turd pal that's hanging out. It's got them twins. They got the turd pal sheepdog look going in. Whatever. We need haircuts for March Madness. Thanks.
I'm kidding. I'm just saying he ain't lying. He ain't lying. Man, I know we old and this is not the new thing. And no, mullet should have been left the hell alone. Like, I don't
way
gone. How is this possible? Like, I get where you get the what is this, like a special type of brush, Eddie, where they actually brush it, throw your hair, looks nappy. I don't even know how this little sponge or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so I'm gonna tell you what it is. And they recommend you, like, if you're growing your hair naturally, like yours truly, don't use it. I don't know why, but they take the sponge and they just do this right here, do this right here, do this right here, all around the head. So instead of sitting like, because like the old way I used to do it, and I'm guilty of it, I used to palm roll like an idiot, right? But I'm like, why is there no hair growing? Because I palm rolled it like a dummy. So I guess the sponge took place of that. And now they're like, well, don't use the sponge. And some of these guys, like, they don't use anything at all. Like Scottie D's boys, Tiger got that. His mess be doing this right here. It's like, hold on, it's like this right here. The listeners can't see it, but it's
a hot mess. But
hot mess deluxe. Yeah. But before we get out of here and talk about some NFL free agency, this reminds me of. I was at work, of course. You know, for those of you that have been paying attention to these 190+ episodes, you know I work at and you know what I do. So I wait on this kid, and I looked at him. He had like a mullet, but like rest in peace to the legendary wrestler, beautiful Bobby Eaton. He had them long, flowing, like beautiful Bobby mullets, like it was like down to his shoulders. I'm over here looking at him like certain styles need to go and stay where they're at, stay where they are. And the mullets have come back, and I'm like, man, this
I know,
man. This ain't
the Kentucky waterfall, the achy breaky hairdo.
Yeah,
it's just.
hey, be like, Yeah. Hey, be like, next thing you know, they be bringing rat tails back in style.
Don't you do? I swear for the. Mm-mm.
You remember that rat? You remember the rat tails?
Yes. And so why? Why was it even cool back then?
Yeah. I try like hell to grow a rat tail. The one thing I had was a triangle in the back of my head. So I'm like, I'm done with it. I don't want a rat tail.
I tried. I really did. I tried. And it got my grandfather, rest his soul, love you. Yeah, he said, no, boy, you ain't doing that.
Boy, you gonna cut that mess off. Doc wouldn't have that.
He wasn't at all. Man, oh man. But
all right, so let me
let's get
Scottie D started talking about hair, and I started thinking about the legendary recipes. Beautiful Bobby eating this kid had a mullet.
Send us another link. We gotta go with a whole nother segment.
Let's take a break and regroup and talk NFL here.
All right, but before I'm gonna go ahead and close this out real quick. All right, and that's been it for March Madness. Coming up next, NFL free agency talk. It's a whole hell of a lot going on. We got a whole hell of a lot to talk about right here, Sports Bros Podcast. All right, so we're back. We talked a lot about college basketball. March Madness is an action-packed tournament. It starts one day. You blink your eyes. You hearing this? In this special moment. Ain't that the song, Scottie D? Ain't that how it go?
One shining moment.
Botch it all up. Botchamania, volume 94.5. But anyways, man, we're here to talk about the NFL free agency period, brouhaha, frenzy. It's been a whole lot going on. Me and B-Live being Panthers fans, the Panthers gave up everything, including DJ Moore, and that PJ to DJ connection will forever live in our hearts. But I understand you got to give to get. There was a silly rumor like, oh, the Panthers are going to trade down to second. Why would you trade down to second? You know, that's like going to that's like getting a great hamburger at a well-known establishment, but then like going to Walmart and getting White Castle. Why would you do that? That's a downgrade. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. The free agency period. Scottie, to start with you. Let's talk about your brand new wide receiver. You got a lot going on. You got a brand new wide receiver. You let an old running back go, and then you sign another running back. Your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, Mr. Jera, he has been busy. I love the deal getting Stephon Gilmore for a 5th round pick and a not a super high salary. I thought that was good. I'm hearing a lot of people praising the Cowboys offseason. They're praising the move to get Brandon Cooks. They gave up a 5th round this year and a 6th next year to get Brandon Cooks. My problem with Brandon Cooks is the dude gets traded all the time. Why does he get traded? If nobody wants him, why am I excited to get him? I mean, I know he's put up some decent numbers, and I know he's a burner. But one, if he flies on the field and Dak underthrows him by 6 yards, what good is he? And two, what's wrong with him? Something got to be wrong with him because you don't just shop around good receivers. Everybody wants the good receivers. I don't know. He's going to be put in a complimentary role on the other side. It was clearly established this past year that CeeDee Lamb is going to be their alpha dog. He was the number one guy this past year for Dallas, and he proved that he can serve in that role after Amari Cooper was traded. So I like those couple moves. I was very puzzled though about the Dalton Schultz situation. Dalton Schultz a year ago was franchise tagged by the Cowboys, and they paid him $10 million. And on Monday, he signed a deal with the Texans for $9 million, a 1-year deal. And I believe that the Cowboys had offered him like 3 years at $10 million per prior to last year. So I was expecting a little bit more for Dalton Schultz. This is like his big showcase mark. I think he's only 26 years old. And I thought, well, maybe the Cowboys, $9 million a year, that's less than the Cowboys paid him. So obviously it seemed like the Cowboys could have gotten into his ballpark. You'd think with some negotiation, but from what I've kind of heard, been told, maybe Mr. Jarrah was angry enough because he ate up some salary cap last year by taking that franchise tag rather than signing a deal, in which case he could have maneuvered some money under the cap and gave the Cowboys more money to spend. And Jerry was just, okay, That's it for that guy. I got 2 other young tight ends. We'll go get another one in the draft. So that was a little bit surprising to me. I thought Dalton Schultz was going to cash in better than a 1-year, $9 million deal, especially because he's going to a team that doesn't have a quarterback. I mean, is his value going to be higher a year from now if he's looking for a multi-year deal than it is right now? And I think, I guess his money was better than Gesicki. Didn't Gesicki go to New England for like $4 million or something? And he was a guy that was considered a big time tight end a couple of years ago. I don't know. That was a little puzzling to me. I don't quite understand that whole situation. I thought Dalton Schultz sold himself short, but maybe he might have negotiated his way out of Dallas by taking that franchise tag a year ago instead of a deal. So who knows?
Scottie D, I will say this though. Brandon Cooks is good because in his 9-year career, he's had, from what I'm looking at here, he's had 6 seasons of 1,000 yards, 1,000-yard receptions, which means, I mean, think about it. He had it for like 3 different teams. He did it twice with New Orleans, his long year at the Patriots, once with the Rams, and twice with the Texans. You know what? Now that you mention, I'm like the case of Brandon Cooks is real interesting. He got numbers. He got the numbers. He got. For his career, he has 49 touchdowns, 8,616 yards, 630 receptions, and his average, yards per catch average is 13.7 yards, and those are some pretty damn good numbers. It's just like, how come you can't stick with one team?
Yeah, that's the puzzle. Now I understand getting out of Houston, from what I've heard, what I've read reported that he actually was kind of a good soldier. He wanted out of Houston, but didn't make a big fuss last year. So they're actually Houston's picking up, I think, like more than half of his salary next year. The Cowboys are getting a good deal on that. But
everybody wants out of Houston. That's right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you want to have a job. So you want to be one of those 53. But Houston, that's a whole nother story within itself. Brandon Cooks, I think, from what I've seen because I've had him on fantasy a couple of times. I haven't really followed his career that much, but he's never been the true number one receiver. But he's always been like someone that you could always rely on. He's not going to really beat you over the top. His route running is good, but again, it's like one of those things. He's one of those jack of all trades, master of none, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Like, so he's like I said, 6,000 yard years that is something to relish upon.
Yeah, those are pretty solid numbers.
But he's not going to be your upper echelon wide receiver, and we're starting to see that trend already slow down a little bit when it comes to wide receivers. I don't see too many wide receivers getting paid $25-30 million like DeAndre Hopkins just did. I think that trend is already going to slow down a bit, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see how the market is in a couple of years. We've seen how running backs are not getting paid at all.
No,
right.
Man, oh man. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I said free agency has been absolutely bonkers to me when it comes to exactly what my Panthers are going to do, because as Eddy Cool, there's still talks that they may trade down just to get a couple extra pieces, just depending on. Because here's the reason why.
It's like this. Be like, you know what? I made an ill burger comparison, but I'm gonna get it right this time because I botched the last one. That's like eating a fresh, ground, made with love, top quality, a Wagu beef made hamburger.
Wait.
And then you opt for the Flanders, the orange box, the ones that you better not bring to no damn cookout when I'm cooking, because I'll kick your ass out the yard. How you gonna go from Wagu to Flanders?
Let me make this argument for you. This is a
there's talk. You're saying there's talk of the Panthers trading out of the number one pick?
Yes. Yeah, but let me
like Kevin Costner is either Kevin Costner the GM?
Let me explain, and I think it's a very valid argument. they may see more than one They may see more than one option. They may actually still be in high regard with Anthony Richardson. They're not going to draft him number one. Here's the thing. So it's one of those things. If they get a good enough trade offer from Houston or Indy and fall back just a couple of spots, they can still draft Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, or maybe C.J. Stroud is still out there because a lot of people still have Bryce Young as the better quarterback out of him and C.J. Stroud, which is bonkers to me. But again, I'm a fan. I don't know. So that I wouldn't mind us trading back down and then getting the number 2 and number 3 pick and then getting one of those quarterbacks. We still be our franchise quarterback. We still got the coach's room that can make some things happen. And then we regain some of those picks that we just gave off to Chicago. And then we get another wide receiver, get a young, fresh wide receiver, highly regarded.
That would be something if that number 1 pick got traded twice in the off season.
But the reason why Carolina
it's not a terrible idea what you're saying. That's what I'm saying.
The reason why Carolina made the moves that they made is because they want to be in control. They're not in control at the number 9 pick. All 4 of the quarterbacks could have been gone by the number 9 pick. They're like, oh, wait a minute. We've got enough pieces to be the talk of everything. I bet money right now their phone has been ringing off the hook. So with the free agency draft, we won't know anything until late April, but it's going to be something else. I think Carolina's moving absolutely in the right direction. I wish we still had DJ Moore, but Adam Thielen, I'm okay with. I'm all right with him. You know what I'm saying? Adam Thielen.
He must not have got any kind of other offer. Why would you go there?
Because the weather's nice.
Okay.
Hey, I'm saying the Queen City, baby.
I know. He don't even know who the quarterback is. He's not going there to play with Andy Dalton for crying out loud.
Oh my God! You had to bring the rifle. You know what?
We got a veteran. We got a veteran. We got a veteran to teach us.
So I can't be mad.
We got a veteran.
No, I think it's a good move for Carolina. Yeah. It's a good move for them. But what's he thinking?
Andy Dalton knows he knows his role. He knows he's going to be the backup. He knows he's going to groom our franchise quarterback. He knows his role, and he's going to do it to the best of his ability. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I wouldn't even be mad if we brought back Cam Newton. Cam Newton trying to make a comeback at Auburn Pro Day. But I ain't even going to talk about it. I played too much. But free agency in the NFL, there's so much more that's going on. Lamar Jackson still ain't got paid. And it's I ain't heard much from him, but we shall see what's really going on, man. Eddie, cool. What you got? Anything else to add to this free agency melee that we got going on?
That Andy Dalton is no longer the red rocket or the red rifle. He is now the red wagon, the radio flyer. That's what Andy Dalton is. Man, damn man. But all honesty, man. Also, I get it. You got to have that veteran because think about it, we lost a lot of guys to Chicago via trade and via free agency. So what's the running joke now? The Chicago
Panthers?
Yeah, the Chicago Panthers. Yeah, the Chicago Panthers, which is interesting because, this kind of reminds me of that same pipeline from Carolina to Buffalo. Yeah, so it's just – and I'm tired – stop giving people stuff. Stop giving people stuff. And then, of course, the guy we kind of don't want to talk about, Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what he's going to do. Probably give a damn. He had a wish list. He got Alan Lazard. He's going to get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich next week. He's going to get Jake Plummer to grow some mushrooms and paint the toenails together.
We need to find an NFL player that will just make us the exclusive. Anytime they have an exclusive, they come to us at the Sports Bros podcast. Can you talk to Joe Turner and see if we can get Cole Beasley? Can we get Cole? Can Cole Beasley, if he has a big announcement, come to the Sports Bros podcast and only the Sports Bros podcast? Since Aaron Rodgers only makes announcements with Pat McAfee, we need an NFL. We need an NFL player just like that will just use us as their platform. That you know what? Let's book it. Let's make it happen. Somebody got to be out there that use us.
I'm gonna try to get us Gronk.
Hey, that's cool.
I would prefer somebody that's still in the league.
Maybe this is where he makes his announcement. He's coming back. We'll take Gronk.
Would be the ultimate cool if we get like the one and only Tom Edward 1001 nicknames Brady on the show.
No. I'd ruin that. That somehow, some way, something will come out of my mouth about him, and I'm probably going to bring up something about February 2004. I don't want him on my show. I ain't let it go. It just ain't happening. Now you got me thinking about John Casey and kicking it out of bounds, and now I'm hurt again.
Lord. So what we're gonna do right now is put this thing back in the right lane, and we're gonna just get everything together here, fellas. Looking at my cell phone because I've yet to get a watch. Don't put your watches in water, kids. Guess what time it is?
What time is it? What's happening? What's really going on?
Man, I'm glad you asked this time once again for our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. With that being said, hey, yo, Button, hit it. Choices of the voices coming up right after this.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful land. Scottie D, watch your ears.
Ever so lovely.
Miss Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show. You guessed it, the choices of the voices. You see me and Scottie D, we got this new thing going on. I don't know how. So I guess I was screaming and Scottie D say, I'm gonna help you out and stop your damn screaming, all right? You know how we do it. We ask you a question, you give us an answer, and we talk about it right here on the Sports Bros podcast. A shout out to the almighty B Live. See, this is a 3-person thing, right? Scottie D come up with a question. B Live retrieve the answers for me because you know I got 1,001 things going on, and I read the answers here at Sports Bros podcast. Just to let you player haters know it is a joint effort. With that being said, Scottie D, what's the question for this week's choices of the voices?
We asked you to tell us about buzzer beaters that hurt your feelings, the ones that crushed you, the ones that made you sad. Eddie, cool.
Buzzer
who we talk about? Yeah, that buzzer beaters that made us sad, that broke our hearts. Yep. At any level.
Okay, at any
basketball.
level.
In basketball.
All right, because you know some people don't listen. All right, so here we go. We got Marcus James. He said Villanova hitting the buzzer beater 3 against my Tar Heels back in 2016, a day before my birthday. Ouch. Several friends and I were at my favorite sports bar celebrating my birthday, and that 3 was an absolute gut punch. What a way to ruin your birthday, all right? Tony Bogan, he said, this was when I was a young lad. When Michael Jordan hit the buzzer beater against the Cavs, not the one in 1989, the one he hit is when he returned in the NBA for the 3rd time in 2002. 9-year-old me cried when he did that.
I remember that one.
Yeah. All right. And Thomas Hovis, he said MJ over Craig Elo still has me feeling some type of way. Shout out to Tony Bogan and Thomas Hovis. They're 2 Cleveland guys. All right. And so Brandon Keith Chestnut, if I'm not mistaken, he showed us the video of Kawhi Leonard hitting that iconic 3-pointer that sends the 76ers home in Game 7. So that's an absolute dagger. All right. All right. And here we go. Once again, we got Jeff Witt. What's up, Jeff? Geoff. All right. He also says the Jordan shot over Craig Elo, but it hurt a lot of feelings. Brandon Gore just said MJ. That's it. All right. And Mark Olds, he said Keith Smart from Indiana that killed SU in the national championship game in 1987. Okay, I need to talk about Syracuse. Gotcha. Trey Dizzle says when Dak Prescott's dad almost changed his mind, but at the last moment he decided to go for it and hit the shot perfectly. Now I have to suffer for years. Hated that one.
That's not a buzzer beater. I mean that he wasn't against the clock, and those type of shots on the microscopic level is multiple attempts at one basket, and if you really think about it statistically, is a very low percentage. There's a lot of shots being taken. But
Will Georgia
okay.
said the villain over my Tar-Heels in the NCAA final was so shit. I was like, man, let me stop this, man. Before you go any further, all right?
Appreciate that, Eddie. Cool.
Yeah, man. Trina Dunn, she said 1984 Elizabethtown College versus Russ College in the first round of the women's NCAA Division III tournament. Yes, we E-Town lost on the buzzer, and I was on the court watching the almost half court shot go in, and we lost. So Trina Dunn with some D3 heartache.
Yeah.
Yep, D3 heartache. Matty Ice, he gives us a whole hell of a lot here. One gut-wrenching experience. You gotta
before you go into that whole thing. First of all, penalty box, because this first part is football, ain't got nothing to do with a buzzer beater.
Skip.
Okay. But then the second part is something that didn't even break his heart. It's something that he roots for. He's talking about the steal by Larry Bird. Well, who did he get
from Isaiah Thomas or the Pistons?
He stole it. Larry Bird stole it, and then who was it? Robert Parrish that got it. Who put that layup? That iconic
DJ.
Oh, that's right. But yeah, that's what he's talking about. Neither one of those are heartbreakers or buzzer beaters. Either way, he's just wrong, and he's in the penalty box for just being wrong, just being Matty Ice, just being God.
It's expected if Trey Dizzle is going to Trey Dizzle, then you know Matty Ice going Matty Ice.
I'll tell you what, and one day we'll actually we did get one straight answer out of 196 episodes for Trey Dizzle. A couple times we got the straight answer. Matty Ice, not this time. You're in the penalty box for this one. You're hard headed. You're just hard headed.
All right. With that being said, Scottie D, heartbreaking buzzer beater.
I don't know if you guys remember. You may remember this, but last year, whenever I was doing a game for my Trinity High School girls team, I think I told you they hit a half court. They lost a playoff game at a half court buzzer shot. That was kind of, I hated that for our young girls, for the high school team to go out that way in their last home game. That one kind of sucked. In 2014, on a cold, and I mean cold, it was ice stormy night in Myrtle Beach, I watched a Pitt Syracuse game in which Tyler Ennis threw up a half court shot to beat my beloved Panthers at the buzzer. It was sickening because it was a good rivalry between Pitt and Syracuse back then. But my all-time one that I hate the most, I sometimes root for, not sometimes, I often root for the Kentucky Wildcats, and I never, ever root for Duke. But when Christian Laettner hit that turnaround shot against Kentucky in, what was that, 92? Oh, was that a sickening sight? Because I could not and still cannot stand Christian Laettner. And I thought Kentucky had him beat. And that was an incredible game. I've watched that game again. And actually, the day that happened, I fell asleep during the first half and only caught like the last 8 minutes of the game. It was like a seesaw thing. It was back and forth. And Laettner hitting that shot, that's disgusting. Anyway, but that's my answer. Laettner.
Be live. What you got?
Out of the world, we both picked Christian Laettner.
Because it was that disgusting.
But I've never liked Kentucky, so that didn't break my heart. I've always despised Duke, so I don't like seeing them win, but it wasn't necessarily a heartbreaker. But the one he had 2 years prior, in 1990, against Connecticut,
UConn? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that
one, I was like, God, I gotta hear this. And I'm just a kid at this moment of time, but this is when they brought the TVs into the classroom during March Madness. Like we got to watch some of the games every now and again as a kid. But this one right here, I was just like, now I gotta hear it. Now I gotta hear Duke this and Duke that. But then they lost to UNLV in convincing fashion. It was just a beautiful. But Christian Laettner, 1990. That's the one you don't see much of, but that was the one that because too many people already said about the Villanova one over UNC. That doesn't even break my heart anymore because having Dean on the show, I have more of an affinity toward Villanova, and I'm more of a Clemson fan than a North Carolina fan now. So I mean, it hurt then, doesn't hurt as much now. But anytime Duke is successful in anything, it hurts, and I could care less.
Shout out to JR.
Clemson fan. Yeah, I said what I said.
Shout out to JR, friend to the show.
Yeah. I've never liked Christian Laettner, ever. Christian Laettner and Bill Laimbeer are like one and the same to me. It's just evil, just wrong. Just why do you even exist?
Wow.
Like, I was mad when Christian Laettner got picked for the 92 Dream Team. Like, how?
That's he didn't deserve to be on that. That was dumb.
That dude?
We're gonna find a guest.
Over Shaq.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna find the best college player. I'm like you said, there's a guy down in LSU that's breaking backboards and doing some phenomenal stuff. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Who had the better NBA career? That should tell you everything. Everything. Eddie Cool, what you got, man?
That damn Christian Laettner.
3 for 3.
That damn Christian Laettner. It was just like Scottie D said, man. Kentucky. You thought Kentucky was like, damn it, we're gonna be the one that kind of like how the Lions this past season kind of put Aaron Rodgers and his Green Bay career out the pasture. That's what Kentucky had the chance to do to Duke, but in typical Christian Laettner fashion, he catch the ball, turn around, make that shot. You know, his hands, everything flying in the air. Next thing you know, you got Grant Hill running around. You got the other guy, what's his name, Tyrone Hill there. Yeah, making the ugly faces. Just
Thomas Hill, yeah.
Yeah, just good old Christian Laettner does it a damn good.
Yeah.
Now, what was the coach? What's this? I'm having a brain fart. Tubby, what was Kentucky's
Tubby Smith.
Okay, that was his. Was that his year there?
Patino was still there.
Oh, okay.
Patino.
Was it Patino then?
Because Kentucky won the title, I think, 2 out of 3 years. And the first one was Patino, and the second one was Tubby Smith. I think like 96 and 98, Kentucky won titles.
You're right.
Tubby was the second one.
Yeah,
so Patino was there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, think about those Kentucky teams, man. They had Walter McCarty, Mark Pope, Tony Delk. I mean, then like later on they had like Walter McCarty,
yeah.
Jamal McGlure. Was Jamal Mashburn there too?
Yep. At some point, yeah, those guys. Yeah, there's some dogs come to Kentucky, man.
God, man, Kentucky, boy, it's just good old Blue State.
And they all sitting at home right now. Kentucky, Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, Clemson, just
Princeton
all
marches on.
Yeah.
Marches on.
And Princeton's like, all right, guys, we'll have fun for you. All right, with that being said, Scottie D, what's on tap for next week's choices of the voices?
All right, we're going to switch it up. You've heard us talk about it. You hear everybody on TV talk about it. Now we're going to give you a chance to talk about it. Next year, where is Lamar Jackson going to be playing, or is he not going to be playing at all?
You're going to be playing in Lower South Carolina. You're going to be
tell us where you think Lamar. We're on Lamar watch. Tell us where you think what's going to be where do you think Lamar is going to be playing next year?
All right.
And we're going to try our best to get Lamar Jackson on the show to make that announcement.
We're going to talk to we're going to reach out to him.
We're going to reach out to his mama.
That's going to give us a little something to talk about next week there, Eddie.
Hey, the thing about it is, Lamar Jackson, via Scottie D, we kind of sort of know an agent. And he kind of sort of might be able to help you out. I'm just saying, because
maybe we'll get him on the show to answer that question next week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, man, something got to get. All right, with that being said, that's it for this week's Choice of the Voices. Coming up next, we got a round of pepper. You know how we do it, and everybody's feeling good. We'll be right back, right here on the Sports Bros Podcast.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
All right, you heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get what I call the hell up out of here. But before we go, let's bring back another round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, here to engage, enlighten, educate, and I forgot the 4th E. What's the 4th E? Anyways, it don't even matter. And entertain. Entertain. There we go. Entertain. I forgot my own damn gimmick. See what happens when you take a week off? You get rusty. I'm talking about bite chain left in the rain rusty. With that being said, I'll go first. On this day in history, back in 1989, Clint Malarchuk of the Buffalo Sabres suffers a near-fatal injury when another player accidentally slits his throat. Yeah.
It was brutal. He hit his carotid artery and opened it up, and I think he said, I got like 2 minutes to live.
Yeah.
He knew he was in trouble, and he kept it. Oh, I remember watching that. What year was that, Eddie?
1989.
I can remember like being in high school, and it's like, oh my gosh. He pulled his mask. There was just blood all over the ice. They actually showed that on ESPN on the highlight. I remember watching it that night. And I was shocked that they showed. I was like, did I just see that right? That was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, he survived that though.
He did. Yep. So in this day in history, he survived. So shout out to Clint Malarchuk for surviving a near fatal and horrendous injury. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right, Tuesday night, the United States fell 3-2 to Japan in the World Baseball Championship. Rob Manfred, the commissioner, who I absolutely adore and think is absolutely genius and brilliant and fair and all that stuff.
B-Live, you smell that? You smell that,
B-Live? Sarcasm.
He says he is pushing for more star pitchers in the next World Baseball Classic. I bet the Mets would disagree with that because their star pitcher, Edwin Diaz, who they had just signed to, I think it was 5 years, 102 million or 120 million, some ungodly number, hurt his knee jumping around and celebrating after a win for Puerto Rico, and he's out for the season. I would argue you need less star pitchers. Now, that could happen. That was a freak thing that happened to Diaz. That could happen dog piling after an opening day walk-off win for the Mets. The same thing could happen because all he was doing was jumping around in a circle, celebrating with his teammates. But the fact is he was there. And I bet you Jose Altuve, who took one on the thumb last week, probably also doesn't think the best of the World Baseball Classic. Guys, I got to be honest with you. I didn't even know when or where this was to be seen. I didn't know it was in Miami until just like 2 days ago. I didn't even realize until we were doing the show that the championship was Japan and the United States on while we started this show. I think this is a colossal waste of time. And I love baseball. And I don't know how many years they've been doing this now, but I remember when they started thinking, this is something I can really get into. And I just never have been able to get into it. And I think when you look at like the investment that teams are making these days, the Mets, a team that was in contention last year, think, man, we have a chance to win the World Series. Let's lock down the best closer from 2022. And he doesn't even make it back from the World Baseball Classic. I think you got to rethink the whole thing. Rob Manfred. Be live. Talk to me.
Well, I'm going to chime in real quick. The players disagree.
I know they do.
The players are heavily invested in this, but to a lot of baseball players, this is their Olympics, the World Baseball Classic.
Okay. If this was the Olympics, I probably would be more excited. I was talking to somebody about that. I'd be probably more into it because whenever the Olympics show up every 4 years, I'm like, wow, this is the Olympics. But this, I thought I would be that way, and I'm just not. And I don't know anybody who watched this. I don't know anybody that really cares about this. And I don't think that the players were – I think the ones who are saying they are into it are the ones that were there and caught up in the moment, but a lot of players didn't want to go, and a lot of players didn't go, and a lot of players weren't allowed to go because they don't want to be risked for injury. So scrap it. Some things were better ideas that you should probably say we're not going to do it anymore. Some, like the USFL, stuff like that. Be live.
I think
here we go.
So we could almost make this a topic. Maybe we should put a pin in it because this almost feels like we'll put a pin on because we'll agree to disagree at this moment.
Fair enough.
All right. My first pepper point is quite the interesting one because This has to do with the Furman Paladins. Furman is located just outside of Greenville, South Carolina. And they, in the first round of the NCAA men's basketball tournament, they were facing against, I believe Furman was 13 seed, Virginia was a 4 seed. And Furman was one of those teams that, was not too invested in because, Virginia's Virginia, went to the ACC championship game, blah, 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 one of the big powerhouses, whatever. Well, Furman pulled off one major upset victory over Virginia. And the reason why this is a pepper point is because the Furman's marching band that usually goes to all of the basketball games and everything, their pit band, the stadium band, whatever, could not make it. But you could not tell if you were watching the game because you heard the Furman fight song, you heard all of the fanfare and all of that. It actually wasn't the band from Furman, but nearby North Greenville University. The reason why? The director at North Greenville University is a Furman alumni, and the Furman band was actually over across the pond in Ireland for an Irish festival. They
weren't.
They missed March Madness. Furman, this is the first time Furman had gotten selected since 1980. So they were selected. The band, yes.
First time since 1980?
Yes.
Scotty, we gotta see your face. We gotta see your face. This is hilarious. I love this.
But yes, and
I can't believe it took them that long to get to the tournament.
The band got invited to an Irish festival over in Ireland back in 2021.
Wow!
But nobody was traveling, so it was just they didn't go 2021. They didn't go 2022. They accepted the invitation in 2023, months before Furman actually made the tournament. So North Greenville University's band learned Furman's fight song and all of their songs to play to support the team. And North Greenville's band helped Furman secure the victory over Virginia. You gotta love the camaraderie. Eddy cool, doodle-doo, the ball.
That's pretty damn cool, man. That's pretty damn cool, man. You know what, man? Let's go help somebody. Like I'm saying, like I said at the end of the show, do something nice. And this is it. They'll be blessed more times than not. All right. Rick Pitino's back in the news again. No, he's not at Louisville doing that stuff again. The stuff that got him in trouble and literally got him kicked out of Power Six Conference. But you know what? Go get your job at Iona. He's been there for a while. As Scottie D alluded earlier, the coach from Fairleigh Dickinson, he's now the coach at Iona. And
Toby Anderson.
Yeah, Toby Anderson. He's at Iona, which means Rick Pitino is back. All right. Where it all started in the Big East. And he has been named the new head coach at St. John's, returning to the Big East Conference with ambitions of restoring the Red Storm to national prominence. Now, I didn't know, but I looked. Rick Pitino is 70 years old. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is he that old?
That's what I said. I was like, he's that old. I didn't know he was 70. Yes, Rick Pitino was 70 years old. And according to his ESPN article, I'll go with some few things he had to say. He said, when he talked to the Iona administration in a series of tweets on Monday, he said, "I'm not sad it ended. I'm so grateful it happened. To my players the last 3 years, all I can say is, you know how much I love you." All right, so Rick Pitino says, you know what? I got a chance to do this one more time at age 70, and back to where y'all started. He coached for Providence, Louisville, Kentucky, and now he's at St. John's. He is one of two men's coaches in NCAA tournament history to lead three programs to the Final Four. John Calipari led UMass, Memphis, and Kentucky to the Final Four, which includes his vacated appearances with UMass and Memphis. So, Rick Pitino, one of those coaches that's always in the mix. He's never out. You can't count him out. So, shout out Rick Pitino. He got a job. Over to you, Scottie D.
Speaking of coaches who are out, Jim Boeheim, adios. And that's all I have to say about that. So this past Saturday, I told you I did take a little break from basketball to watch the UFC pay-per-view, and it was Kamaru Usman going after the welterweight title that he lost to Leon Edwards last year. He was over on Leon Edwards' turf this time. They were over in London, and Kamaru Usman came up short. It was a sad sight for me because I was expecting him to go out there and really take it to Leon Edwards, but Leon Edwards kicked and danced his way around as Usman was insistent on trying to tackle the guy, and none of that worked out, and it made for not the most exciting fight, but Leon Edwards was definitely the deserving winner. He now is told he's fighting Colby Covington next, who has not fought in a year and a half, and Leon Edwards does not think that's fair. I don't know how Colby Covington gets to fight when he hasn't fought in a year and a half. I should probably fight the winner of Gilbert Burns and Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal, the guy who just lost 3 in a row and will probably lose his 4th on Saturday, or is in 2 Saturdays coming up. Nonetheless, it's interesting that Leon Edwards is claiming he's the king, and he's going to decide who gets to fight next for the welterweight title. Evidently, he doesn't know that Dana White's in charge. Dana White's the boss. Anyway, we got Israel Adesanya going for his rematch against Michael Pereira coming up in a couple weeks. So that's the next UFC title fight to watch. But at this point, I don't know what will become of Kamaru Usman, who was nearly unbeatable until last year and now dropped 2 in a row to Leon Edwards. Be live. Over to you.
Man, oh man. UFC madness. My second pepper point. Do y'all guys remember back in 2016, right around the NFL draft, that there was a certain player that before the draft decided to go live on Twitter with a face mask, with a smoke mask on and everything?
I know exactly who you're talking about.
You remember this guy? Scottie D?
Yeah, I forgot about that, but it does kind of ring a bell.
Oh, you know when you see it.
He goes by the name of Laramie Tunsil. Okay. And the reason why I bring him up in my second pepper point is that I want to give hope to Lamar Jackson and him not having an agent. Because Laramie Tunsil does not have an agent. But he is the highest paid left tackle in the NFL. And for the second time, he's done this without an agent, where he's just signed a contract, 3 years, $75 million with $50 million guaranteed. He's come a long way from dropping down in the draft that year and now being the left tackle for the Houston Texans. He can afford a few more bong hits. Laramie Tunsil, hey, proves that you do not need an agent. Eddy Cool. The ball.
Puff, puff, give.
Puff, puff, give out the endo. No, but shout out to Laramie Tunsil, man. I will say this, though, man. He is able to take a bad situation, make it really good.
Oh, he's a beast. The dude he deserves every bit of that money.
Yeah. And he good. That's the whole thing. So I'm not mad at him. Scottie D, he played for y'all for a while. He played for Dallas for like a year and a half. Laramie Tunsil.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, he did play for
no.
Oh, he didn't?
He played Miami first 3 years and Houston the next 4.
No stint in Dallas?
Not according to Wikipedia, but
I'm gonna say he did. I don't remember him either.
Well, anyways,
no matter. We're fans.
That's it. Yeah, I thought he played for the blue and white. All right. So, anyways, my third and final paper point will be a brand new segment that I'll introduce during my paper point from time to time. It's called Eddy's Tip of the Day. All right, and it goes a little something like this. I know it's grammatically incorrect, but when you hear it, you know what the hell I mean. One more time. Everything ain't meant for everybody to know. Now, I don't usually follow up this kind of foolishness, but I've just found it interesting because it involves some basketball players and a real housewife. All right. So Larsa Pippen, the former wife of Scottie, Pippen. They ain't together no more. They separated. They divorced. Scottie D, not Scottie D, but Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen has been out and about doing his thing, appearing on The Last Dance and saying how, he felt some kind of way about this, that, and the third, and everything else is going on too. Recently, it's been surfaced that Larsa Pippen is dating Michael Jordan's son, Marcus, right? Talk about an awkward. Yeah. Yeah.
What's their age difference?
She's 48, he's 32.
A lot.
Okay, well.
Yeah. So he's
I'm 50. That wouldn't be out of my range at 32.
Oh boy. Oh man, here we go. So anyway. All right. So anyways, sometimes they appear on those reality television shows. And this is what I mean. Everything ain't meant for everybody to know. All right. So according to this article on Complex Magazine, the 48-year-old gave an insight into her and ex-husband Scottie Pippen's past relationship intimate moments, saying, I always had sex 4 times a night. I had sex 4 times a night, every night. I never had a day off in 23 years. Then she says, Marcus has really big shoes to fill. So here's the thing about it, right? We don't need to know everything. This is already a sloppy situation. This is awkward. The fact that Michael Jordan's son is dating Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. This is why y'all don't watch this stuff. Scottie D, over to you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
What?
Sorry, I didn't have anything better to add onto that one.
No.
But Scottie Pippen was a good basketball player.
That he was.
He was a really good basketball player. Okay. Speaking of bad hair, and actually B Live alluded to this earlier, but guess who was back in the NFL? MVP, baby. And he threw 30 passes at the Auburn Pro Day on Tuesday. And some say it was a much about trying to throw some passes and showcasing his younger brother. It was played, I guess, is a wide receiver prospect. But that's not how it came across in was an Instagram post the day before, whenever he told everybody that these randoms are keep popping up into the league, and there ain't 32 guys better than him. Yes, there are, because ever since Von Miller chased you around in the Super Bowl, you ain't been that good, Cam. You look terrible in New England. And then the one place that everybody loved you and you had a shot back in Carolina, you had one good game, you had B Live all excited, and then you were terrible again. You couldn't beat out Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield or PJ Walker, and now you're suddenly one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the league. Not going to happen, bro. You might get yourself a backup gig, but I think as many people are interested in your pro day as Terrell Owens when he pulled the same stunt a few years ago. Cam VP out. V Live, over to you.
Yeah, you know what Cam Newton need to do? He need to just go ahead and do a Taysom Hill roll. That's all. Problem solved.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind that at all. It's not the fact that he's not, like, I think he's better than some of these starting quarterbacks, but it's what is his upside at this point in time? Some of these other quarterbacks still have an upside. They still have a future. They're younger. They can develop. Cam Newton, you use a lot of personality in that locker room. Just saying.
Yes.
That's
what
in
the video, it kind of came across as like almost arrogant, mocking these other quarterbacks, of which he's at their level now. He's not at the MVP level he was 7 years ago. He was kind of mocking them, and I don't know if the GMs and owners would take kindly to that kind of attitude.
I love Cam Newton. I don't think there's a bigger fan in the league, in society than me. Cam VP, that's my dude. But come on, bro. Come on, just take a backup role.
You gotta shut the hell up. You gotta shut the hell up sometimes.
Hell, the XFL. I wouldn't even mind you doing that. But hey, do you understand how electric that would be seeing him in the XFL? He would literally be the star of the league.
Electric. Oh my goodness. You're
I
adorable.
know. I know I am. I know I am.
Adorable. You're adorable. What's your final pepper point?
Let me just get to my third and final. Let me get to my third and final pepper point. So I know I've already given 2 doozies, but let's talk about fundage. Let's talk about stadiums and funds and sites and stuff like that.
Adorable.
All right. SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California. Do y'all remember how much it cost for them to build that stadium?
$7.5 billion.
A little lower than that. It around $5 to $6 billion to build SoFi Stadium.
Okay.
You know what they might have forgot to do?
What did they forget?
Well, the United States and Mexico, North America, essentially, they're the host site for the World Cup in 2026. Mm-hmm. And part of the World Cup is having host stadiums and sites and places for teams to play and everything like that. And one of the highlights would have been SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, City of Angels, big city. That was supposed to be the site of the World Cup final. But the geniuses that built SoFi Stadium forgot to take into factor the regulations and the requirements for a stadium to hold the World Cup final, because to have the World Cup final, you have to meet FIFA's minimum requirement of 80,000 seats. And in order for SoFi Stadium to add the seating to get the 80,000 seats, they won't have enough room for a soccer field to fit in the stadium.
Well, damn.
So therefore, SoFi right now, they're trying their best to figure out some way, somehow to put more seats and still have room for the soccer field to be there. Because right now, SoFi sits 70,000, and they need to somehow add 10,000 seats before 2026. So the World Cup final may have to get moved either to MetLife Stadium in New Jersey or Scottie D.
Jarrah World.
Absolutely, because $5.1 billion and nobody had enough foresight to make the plays, to have enough seating for the World Cup.
Why would you? Like, why'd you say, we got soccer.
It's the world. Stop, Scott. Stop.
It's only
the
soccer.
World.
You got plenty of seats for the XFL. You're like, let's football. Maybe we can do that, but soccer. I mean, who cares?
They
got 70,000 seats. That's plenty for soccer. I would just tell you.
God, how just $5.1 billion, and you can't get that right. Way to go, SoFi Stadium. Way to go. Yes, sir.
Things happen, man. Things happen. That's real wild and that's real crazy. Scottie D, what do you think? Hey, Scottie D, what do you think Greg Olson had to say about the World Cup being played in Dallas? What will Greg Olson have to say about that?
Yeah, I think it'd be great to have the event take place down in Dallas. I would love to go see that. I bet you it'd only be like $20 to have like a beer. United States has great players down there. They've got Tony Romo down in Dallas. He'll be there at the game. He'll play.
Good old Greg Olson. Oh, boy. I've been waiting to do that for the last long time. What will Greg Olson have to say? Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's been it for another episode of Sports Balls Podcast. Thank you. We love you for rocking with us for 4 years. I know we went pretty long, but you missed us. We missed you. We missed each other. So we just had to get back together, kiss, make up, apologize, rub the back of your neck. But you know what? We ain't going to do you like that no more again anytime soon. Real quick before quick housekeeping notes. Number one, the app that you hear us on is no longer known as Anchor. It is now known as Spotify for podcast. And with that being said,
I was wondering how I got that on my phone.
Yep, that's what it is. That's what it is. And so to all the Spotify listeners, when you get a chance, I'll post a question. We'll post a question of the week that we'll think about to ask, and you answer the question. Just what you like about the show. And we'll also do a poll of the week as well, too. So if you're a Spotify listener, it gives you a great way to interact with all of us here at the Sports Bros Podcast. All right, fellas, it's time to get the hell up out of here. Any last words before we leave?
Yeah, R.I.P. to Willis Reed, who had a historic figure in the NBA back whenever he came limping out on the court to beat the Lakers for the Knicks back in, I think it was 1970. Anyway, R.I.P. 80 years old for Willis Reed. And that is it for me, boys.
You got anything, B-Live?
Panthers do not draft Bryce Young. C.J. Stroud. That's the way to go.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
C.J. Stroud. And R.I.P. to Bobby Caldwell. My friends wonder what is wrong. Anyways, do something nice for yourself. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They're greatly appreciated now more than ever. Be a blessing, not a burden. Don't be that Larsa Pippen and tell every damn thing you know, because sometimes we just don't need to know it. This be Boy Eddy Cool. This has been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Be live. Take us home.
Yes, sir.
That's what friends are for.
If I'm Michael Jordan, I'm saying to myself, how in the hell is my son dating my teammate's ex-wife? Bye, y'all. Don't even think about it. Damn. Hey, it's Eddy Cool here from the Sports Bros Podcast. And do you want some more of the Sports Bros Podcast in your life? Wait a minute, don't answer that. The answer is yes. And I know you want some more of the Sports Bros Podcast in your life. Do us a small favor. Go to the description box, click our Linktree link, and you'll see all the links on how to follow the Sports Bros Podcast. Once again, thanks for listening.